Hi guys, how are you? It's your host Lydia and welcome back to another episode of Children of Divorce. Thank you for joining me today. I'm so happy and incredibly grateful to have you here with me. Where do we even start, guys? I mean, this week has been catastrophic, but this weekend, my goodness, it's a Sunday that I'm filming this, even though this is coming out on a Friday, but I'm filming on a Sunday, FYI, for your information. And yesterday was a Saturday, and the day before that was a Friday. Sorry, just thought we should go over days of the week here in case anyone is a little confused. I know I get a bit confused, but yeah. Yesterday was a Saturday. I woke up super late because I was up super late on the web as per usual. And I just felt frazzled yesterday. I felt frazzled today. I felt like a bit like poop. Okay, then I ran into some of my ops on campus, in the dining hall. The dining hall, I swear, is actually my arch nemesis here on campus. I run into the world. Every single time I think I don't want to run into this person, guess who I fucking run into? That literal person. Or, another weird thing that's been happening to me? When you're walking on the streets and you see someone and you think it's someone, and then you get closer and then you realize it's not the person that you thought it was. And then what happens after I pass that person? I see the person that I thought the first person was. And I swear to God, it's not a coincidence. It's the universe either telling me that things are in alignment or it is a coincidence, but I don't think it is because it's happened multiple times. So I swear, something is aligning. The stars are aligned. I don't know all the astrology stuff, but something's happening up there, and it's telling me, it's a sign that everything's about to work out for me. Surely, right? Or maybe I should. Okay. Just think I had a bit of a mind spasm there. But I wanted to say something else. How else are the stars aligning for me? Oh yeah, another thing. I had this once in a self-help podcast, but in order to combat jealousy, when you see people with things you want, it's just a sign that it's actually close to you. For example, a girl in my yoga class has the Cartier bracelet that one day I would like to buy for myself. And she was right next to me in class, and I took it as a sign that it's just super close to me, right? Oh, the girl with the bracelet is right there. It means it's literally about to be me. So today, when I was literally quadruple sandwiched between three couples, okay, one in front of me, one behind me, and one on the side of me. And the only reason there wasn't one on the other side of me was because the next to me was a goddamn wall, okay? And I took it as a sign from the universe that it just means love is super close to me and love is coming my way. Surely, right? That's what it means. So, I'm not jealous. I'm happy for everyone. I genuinely, though, am not jealous when I see couples. I love seeing people in love. I love love, guys, okay? I love love. So it just makes me happy to see other couples. I love it when they're just perfect for each other and you can tell, or when they look super cute. And it just makes me happy to look at them. Part of me wants that for me as well, but I'm not jealous of them because I know that the same way that love found them, love would find me. And so I love seeing couples in public. I'm sorry, I'm the one that stares, but it's just because I'm kiss, guys, just kiss. Or yeah, hold her hand, okay? I'm a romantic. Sue me. Yeah, I was also thinking about the phrase, oh, love will find you when you least expect it, because first of all, it's so obnoxious to hear that from someone who's in a relationship, especially when you're single and you want to be in a relationship. It's so annoying. It's fuck off, okay? Easy for you to say. Of course you don't expect it anymore. You're in a goddamn relationship. So I was thinking about that phrase. And I've realized why people say that. I think it's because it's not that they weren't looking for love. I think they were looking for love, but they got kind of fed up or exhausted of always putting themselves out there and trying really hard, and eventually they kind of accept their fate and they're like, okay, love will happen whether I'm looking for it or I'm not. So I might just not look for it and just keep my energy within me. So once they realize that, right, that love's going to come when they're looking for it or they're not, they're like, okay, well, why am I spending all this time looking for it? I might just do me, do my life, and then it will find me. And so when people say, oh, love found me when I didn't expect it, it's not that they weren't looking for it or that they didn't want it. It's just that at one point they realized that it was going to find them one way or another. And so they just kind of dropped the act of looking for it. I hope this is making sense. It made sense in my head, but sometimes things make sense in my head and then I say them out loud and people look at me like, ugh. But the point is, I'm not at the stage yet where I'm like completely not looking for love at all, but I think I'm coming around to the idea that I'm accepting the fact that love is going to find me if I'm looking for it. If I'm not, it's just going to happen when it's meant to happen. And so, yeah, I could spend all my time and energy like thinking about it and hoping for it, or I could spend my time and energy in other things because I know that it's going to happen. Easier said than done though, right? Like, I still find it hard when I'm quadruple sandwiched in between couples. It's still easy to be like, oh, I really want to be in love. When is my person coming? And don't get me wrong, I make eye contact with every cute man I see on my campus that makes eye contact with me. Okay, and I am open to it. I'm open to speaking to people. But I think I am getting better at not being so boy crazy, so woo. I feel like I deserve a medal or something, maybe a prize. But anyways, today's episode is so not about any of the things I introed with, but you know me, I just kind of like to, we have like a little bit of a repertoire here and we go back and forth a bit, so we have to get the casual chit-chat out of the way. But now we're gonna speak about calorie counting, which is probably why you've clicked on today's episode. So if you are a fellow calorie counter, first of all, I see you, I understand, okay, I get it. Second of all, I'm gonna be so honest in today's episode. I'm gonna tell you literally everything I ever did with calorie counting, and we're just gonna have a really honest conversation about it. Because a lot of us do it, okay? Like, first of all, I think we've all heard the term calorie deficit. That term haunts me. I was thinking about it last night. I was like, oh my god, because there's all the fitness influencers online that are like, oh, okay, like if you want to lose weight, you just got to do a calorie deficit. I mean, the number of websites I've been on to calculate my what is it, maintenance, my calorie maintenance, my calorie deficit, you know, the ones as well that will tell you you'll lose X amount if you do this much of a deficit, and you'll lose X amount of kilos if you do this much of a deficit, and it gives you like a week to week basis. Believe me, I've been on all of the websites, I've done all of the calculations, okay, I've been there. But let's start at kind of the beginning of my calorie counting story. I started counting calories when I was 14 years old and it was COVID 2020. My eating disorder started at the age of 10. So for those of you that don't know, at the age of 10, I developed the eating disorder bulimia, and throughout the years until I was 19 years old, I struggled with bulimia primarily, but also anorexia and binge eating disorder. So I had all three. But you're valid no matter which one you had, no matter how many, no matter how little. But I'm saying I had all three because I feel like we can reach more people that way, right? Or at least I can help reach more people with my story. So all eating disorders are valid here, okay? This is an inclusive space. But yeah, bulimia developed at the age of 10 for me, but I didn't really understand I had an eating disorder until I was about 14 and it was COVID, because it was pretty innocent. Like, I just made myself sick sometimes and I didn't feel that great about my body, but I didn't think that much about it. It was just something I did. I was a baby, right? My brain wasn't developed. I didn't understand a lot of things that were happening at the time. So bulimia was just kind of this thing I did, this coping mechanism. I didn't really know too much about it. I was just like, oh, okay, cool. Like, I can eat whatever I want and I just make myself sick and there's no consequences. Little did she know. Okay, there are quite a few consequences. So don't do it if you're young and you're thinking, oh, like, this is like a really fun, like, thing, like, woo, like, no issues. It comes with a lot of baggage. And maybe you don't see that baggage for a few years, but the baggage eventually comes. So I picked it up because I read about it in like a book actually, and I didn't feel that great in my body. But there's so many reasons why I developed an eating disorder. That's not the topic of today's episode. It will be another podcast episode. But when I was 14, COVID 2020 hit, right? All of a sudden there was so much talk online, okay, like Chloe Tank. Don't know if you guys are like traumatized by that period, but I for sure was. I think it's like a common experience for everyone that everyone's eating disorders got worse in COVID 2020. I don't know a single person whose eating disorder did not get worse in COVID 2020. So if it was you, high five, okay? Well, we're not congratulating it, but we're accepting it. That's definitely what happened to me, because all of a sudden I was chronically online, okay, and I saw so much stuff about weight loss. I had so much more time to think about my body, and also at the time I was 14, I started to just be more knowledgeable about eating disorders. I realized what I had was a problem. I realized it wasn't good, and I continued to do it, and it started to affect me a lot mentally and make me very depressed, make me very down. My mental health just declined during COVID, and that's when I started also to count calories, because I was learning about it on the internet, online, just so many things. And I realized that perchance I wasn't losing weight with bulimia. And I think it's a common fact, really, that you don't really lose weight with bulimia. Like, I think we all know that, and that's why bulimics find it so frustrating. Believe me, I understand, because you're doing the eating disorder part and you don't get to fucking lose weight. And it's just like, what am I gaining out of this? Just a bad heart? And it's like, yeah, literally, all you're gaining out of this is a bad heart and potentially weight. Eating disorder pun, but the thing with bulimia and why you don't lose weight is, first of all, you're fucking up your entire digestive system, okay? So, like, calorie maintenance, calorie in, out, doesn't even fucking matter anymore, because your digestive system is just, like, a mess. Like, how your metabolism, how you can digest things, like, put the numbers out the window, it is just a mess. So, like, you can't apply basic math, calorie maintenance, whatever. You can't apply these numbers to it when you have bulimia, okay? Because I would eat food and make myself sick, and I would not just like make myself sick, but I would literally be on the toilet until I was throwing up acid. And so I was like, I've gotten every calorie I can out of my body, and I still would not be losing weight, because your body will absorb calories, whatever, but also I don't even know how it works. I couldn't tell you, but I just know that with bulimia, you don't lose weight, because I had bulimia for many, many years and I barely lost weight ever with bulimia. And I'm not telling you that, if you're a bulimic, I'm not telling you that to scare you, to push you towards anorexia, to push you towards anything. This is not that podcast. I'm not out here, I'm definitely not out here giving advice on how to lose weight. Okay, this is not an Ozempic ad. It is the opposite of that, okay? We're not speaking about that, about weight loss. We're speaking about recovering from an eating disorder. That is the only priority and goal and thing I am ever promoting, and I just want to put that out there. But yeah, I never ever lost weight with bulimia, and so I started to understand when I was 14 years old why that was, and I started to understand more about calories, but I was still pretty bad at counting calories. I had the app. I didn't have MyFitnessPal. I had Fitbit, which was like a wrist watch you have. And I think I just didn't download MyFitnessPal because you had to like pay for it or something. I don't know. Fitbit I used to calculate calories, and I started like logging stuff onto there, but I was never really like a heavy manual logger of my calories. I never like really felt the urge to log every single day, but I started to see that like the calories I was eating, like some days were like 3,000, and I was like trying to subtract like by like taking away what I'd thrown up. Like it was a mess, okay? It was a mess, but point is, from that age, I started to understand what calories were, and I started to count them. And then throughout the years, I got significantly better at counting calories, and I started to be a lot more accurate. But the entire time, I did have bulimia as well. So counting calories only got me so far, and I never really lost weight, albeit I was in a kind of underweight, small body, because my eating disorder developed at the age of 10. And from then to the age of 16, I really didn't gain much weight. So I was in an underweight body at that time, but I didn't go more underweight because of the bulimia. And this is how my eating disorder worked. When I realized that the only way I would lose weight was through anorexia, I tried really hard to restrict. And so I would try my hardest to be anorexic, and I would eat like 1200 to 1600 calories a day. Like that was kind of my boundary, maybe 1400. It depended like on the week, on how I was feeling, on how like upset I was with my body at the time. But the point being is that around 1200 to 1600 calories a day was my limit. And that's how many calories I would eat when I was restricting. And I would do that for however many days. Sometimes it would be 3, sometimes I would be like on a streak and make it to 2 weeks, and then I would relapse into bulimia. Or I don't want to say relapse because it was kind of the cycle I was in, which was restrict, binge. But the binge was followed by a purge. And yeah, that's basically how my eating disorder worked from the age of 14 onwards. It was try not to throw up, try not to throw up, try to just restrict. Oh, I can't do it. I like need to fall to bulimia. Cycle continued forever for like 5 years from the age of 14. And that's a really not fun cycle to be in. It's miserable, actually. And binging and purging is just so hard on your heart, on your body, on your mental health. I was thinking today, you know what? I have problems, but at least I'm not doing that to myself, to my body anymore. So if you're out there binging and purging in that cycle, you know, I really do sympathize with you. I understand. I was doing it sometimes 5 times a day. My knuckles were like bleeding, and my throat burned from all the acid and everything like that. And it is just unpleasant. And I'm going to do a lot of episodes on how I recovered from bulimia, and I just hope I can help you guys out. You can get out of this. I know you can. I got out of it, and I was in really far deep. Like if it was a cult, I was probably the leader. Okay, so if I can get out of that binge purge cycle, you can too. But back to counting calories and things like that. Yeah, on my restriction days, I would set a limit between 1200 to 1600 calories. And I tried not to eat breakfast. That was like my main thing, is that I tried to skip breakfast, or I would have a coffee for breakfast. I was never a black coffee drinker, just didn't like it, but I would try to make a latte or whatever as low calorie as possible. Very much a skim milk kind of girl or an almond milk kind of girl. And then lunch always had to be around 400, 500 calories max. I like to keep it like at 400, so I had room for like an afternoon snack to make it to 600. I was very much focused on how can I get food in and still stay under my calorie limit, because I was hungry. I was hungry, okay? And so I needed food. Like, it's not that I didn't like food. I really liked food, okay? Of course we do. It's a human thing. I've always loved food as well. Like, always had a passion for it. When I was younger, I was like a baker. I liked to stay up all night cooking and stuff. But it's a human thing to enjoy food. I think we're all hungry, okay? And especially when you aren't feeding yourself, you aren't treating your body correctly, you're hungry. Like, it doesn't matter that I was in an underweight body. Also, when I was at a healthy weight body and also an overweight body, which I've been in all of them throughout the years, okay? Because at 17, I did try to recover from my eating disorder, and I gained a lot of weight because I went into all-in recovery. And then I relapsed in that overweight body, and I still felt starving in that body. And it's got nothing to do with weight. It's because of how I was feeding myself. So if you're out there and you're hungry, it's nothing to do as well with your body weight. I mean, you might have more extreme hunger at an underweight body, but if you're restricting or you're in a binge purge kind of cycle or a binge restrict, of course you're hungry. Like, it's got nothing to do with your body weight. It's about how you're feeding yourself. And so yeah, your eating disorder is valid no matter which one you have, no matter what size you're at. In a bigger body, I felt like maybe my eating disorder wasn't valid, but it so was. Like, I could have recovered at any of the body weights I was at. Like, I didn't need to wait until I was at my smallest or whatever. But some things we just need to learn for ourselves. Like, everyone's journey recovering from an eating disorder is a personal one. Ultimately, at the end of the day, it has to be you that wants to recover. No one could have recovered for me. No one could have made the decision for me. So I went through such a big journey, like so much stuff, and I had so many like relapses and ups and downs, but eventually I made it to recovery, to a path of sustainable recovery. And I'm not here to tell you exactly how to do it. Your path, your journey is going to look completely different to mine, but hopefully I'm just a comforting person to listen to, that it's possible, that I did it, that I'm happier now that I did it, like it's the best decision I ever made. And I'm going to help you out in any way that I can. Like, that's what I want to do. I want to help you recover from your eating disorder because it's just the best decision you can ever make. But yeah, sorry, back to counting calories. Yeah, lunch I tried to keep it to like 400 calories a day. I was obsessed with these sandwiches from Pret a Manger. I don't know if any of you know Pret, but it's like this chain. They have it in America and the UK. For some reason, that was my safe food, and so I loved to get a sandwich from there. It was like 370 calories or something, and I can remember it all. Like it is embedded in your brain forever. But um yeah, I love to get that, and I would pick it apart and try to make it last as long as possible. Because I was just so hungry, and I just, it was the happiest part of my day. That's also the other thing, is that food did bring me so much joy and happiness when I ate it, because my body was so deprived of just like food. I would make myself sick, and so it was the best part of my day, like when I got to eat something. Um and yeah, I tried to make it last as long as possible. And then in the afternoon, I would sometimes have a snack. Ice cream was also a safe food for me, like a sorbet. I would like measure it. Like at home, I would use like a food scale and measure the amount of like sorbet I was eating. I loved protein bars. Again, another safe food for me. Like I would nibble at them. Like again, I would make it last as long as possible. Like that was a very distorted habit of mine, picking the food apart. I was so ashamed of it. I couldn't eat in front of other people because I had to eat the food in a specific way. And yeah, I couldn't eat in front of other people because I just ate in a really weird way, and I like picked everything apart and tried to make food last really long. I don't know if that's relatable, but that's definitely a disordered habit I had with food. I also went through the drinking a lot of Diet Coke phase. We all go through that, I think. But my God, I would drink like so much Diet Coke a day. Gum, I chewed so much gum. And I would count the calories in the gum, but at my worst, I was probably chewing. In the UK, we have this brand of gum called Extra, and they're like these little packets with like 12 pieces of gum. I would chew like 6 packs of gum a day. Like, that sounds crazy, but it's because, like, even the little bit of like sugar or whatever I would get from the gum, like, was yummy to me or whatever, felt like I was eating something. And so I tried to like kind of trick myself a bit by just like eating lots of gum. And yeah, it was calories, but it was calories I was like willing to count. um yeah, it was a bizarre habit. Like I ate an obnoxious amount of gum, and like I would leave it everywhere. It would be like on my desk. Like I would like leave it on my bedside table. I was like Veruca Salt, really. Wait, no, not Veruca Salt, Violet Beauregarde. I did dress up as her for Halloween, which is like kind of ironic, but we love. And then yeah, back to calorie counting. I would try to put dinner as late as possible. Like I tried to make it super long without eating because I just figured then later at night I wouldn't be as hungry, like if I ate later. So yeah, lunch I would push, but I tended to eat around like 12 p.m. My snack I would have like 4, and then dinner. Sometimes I was so hungry I would eat like 6:30, but I would try to push it to like 8 p.m. And again, I tried to make it super high volume, low calories. So loads of vegetables and like really lean, whatever, lean meat. I had a lot of like soups, just loads of vegetables. I used to like steam like kilos and kilos of zucchini and just eat that, which like bleh, I can't think of that anymore. It's so gross. Like zucchini is good, but like not how I was eating it. It was like so much zucchini and it was like steamed. Mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. And yeah, I would have like fish or chicken. I didn't eat red meat. I said it was because I didn't like it, but it was because I was scared of the calories in it. And I don't know, dumplings like gyoza, just like things that I also knew the calories in. Like for some reason, those were my safe foods. Um, like I would be happy to eat a sandwich as well for dinner. Like that would be great for me. Or stuff from like restaurants where they had the calories. Like I just liked to know the calories really. So that helped, but definitely like no pasta, no red meat, no cheese at all. But that is when I was restricting because the reality is I had bulimia. So eventually I would continue in the cycle of binging and throwing up, and calories went out the window when I would do that. I think my binges must have been close to 5,000 calories. I definitely got better. Over time I could eat more. Or actually then when I like lost weight, sometimes I could eat less because I think my stomach was shrinking, but I could eat like 5,000 to 10,000 calories on a binge, and I would like make myself sick. And it was never really enjoyable, but at the time it just felt so good because I was so hungry. And I binged when I was in an overweight body, when I was in a regular weight body, when I was in an underweight body. I binged whenever, like because my body was starving at whatever weight I was at because I wasn't feeling it correctly at any of those weights. Like, even when I tried to recover when I was 17, I had such extreme hunger from being in such an underweight body. I was probably eating close to like 5,000 calories a day for several months because I was just so hungry all the time, and there was a lot of mental hunger. And I'm throwing so many terms and so much stuff out here. And I definitely want to do an episode about my experience with all in recovery because it wasn't the best for me just because of my binge eating disorder tendencies. And the second time round when I tried recovery, which has been this current time round, and it was successful, as you can see. I did it in like a slower way. I did my weight gain journey in a slower way, and I followed a meal plan. And that was just better for me. It's also easier to like kind of adjust to the weight gain that way. I'm not advocating for either one. I'm advocating for what works for you, but just because of like my all or nothing tendencies, I think a slower weight gain meal plan kind of worked for me. Because all in was just like a little bit confusing. It's funny, I used to watch the like 10,000 calorie challenges and I thought, easy money, easy money. Like I could have definitely done one of those. Um, definitely. I feel like I've lived all the lives of an eating disorder because I did the anorexia when I was heavily restricting, and so I feel I have that in common with like anorexics or people who are just anorexics, but equally I was just as much a bulimic and I made myself sick all the time. And then equally I was also a binge eater because I tried to fool myself into thinking I was recovering when I was 18 because I was like, Lydia, how about we do this? We restrict and then we give ourselves one cheat day and you don't throw up. And so I did that for a while as well, where I didn't throw up. I would just restrict, and then one day or 2 days I would like have a binge. And so I've struggled so much over the years with this calorie counting, with weight gain, weight loss. Like, I found it so fucking hard to lose weight. It's just been really hard. And the point of this episode is not to promote calorie counting because calorie counting traps you. You try to do things right all the time, but the thing is, our body is not a machine. It's not going to die if you give it 100 over whatever you've calculated. I don't count a single calorie now. Sure, some things are in my brain, right? You'll have sometimes things in your brain when you recover from an eating disorder. Like you'll look at a meal and you might be like, this might be around 500 calories, but the voice gets quieter. And the point of recovery is you hear the voice and you ignore it anyways. Like you can't wait for the voice to go away before you start doing the things that will help your body. You have to start doing the things that will help your body, and then the voice will go away. And so, yeah, I did a lot more of those like frequent comments about calorie counting, like from the voice, like a year ago when I started recovery. But it's so much less frequent now, and it's so much easier to ignore. And yeah, some days I'm like looking back at what I've eaten subconsciously and I'm like, oh, that was a lot of calories. Like, I wonder how my body's doing. Like, can it even digest all of this? Like I've eaten over my maintenance probably, whatever. Like trying to control it is gonna get you nowhere. Believe me, I tried my best. I counted every calorie to a T. Okay, like I did that. Okay, I wrote it down on my notepad. Even when I didn't have a phone, I was like a little calculating machine. And it just gets you nowhere. It gets you to a hospital. That's where I ended up. I ended up last year in an eating disorder unit. So it might feel scary to not count calories, but counting calories isn't the option either. And I could sit here and tell you just stop. I know it's easier said than done. But when I started in the eating disorder unit, I was still counting calories and then I just kind of stopped. Like it is a choice. In your head it is a choice, and you can choose not to. I would have to catch myself. My brain would start calculating everything and I would be like, no, let's distract ourselves. And sometimes I would calculate the calories. It would just happen. I tried to stop myself, and you still calculate. You don't mean to, but you do just calculate the calories. I mean, especially when the eating disorder has like kind of taken over you, taken over your life. Like it has got a mind of its own and it does take over. And it's really hard to like just kind of stop that, but it gets easier over time and you won't count calories forever. And it's far more complex. And I could say so much more about this, but I would just urge you to start recovery. And by starting recovery, you could just say, okay, no more calorie counting. It's easier said than done. And my recovery journey started with me in an eating disorder unit. And that was super useful, but not everyone has that opportunity. So you'll start recovery when you're ready. You'll start it because you wanted to, you'll start it because you didn't, okay? You'll start recovery because you had to, you'll start recovery because you didn't. You'll start at your most underweight, you'll start at your most overweight, okay? You'll start recovery wherever you are. You'll start it when you're meant to, you'll start it when you want to. But it is the right choice. Never ever forget that it is the right choice and that counting calories doesn't get you anywhere. I don't count my calories now, and I'm in the healthiest, happiest body I've ever been in. And it's scary as fuck sometimes, guys. I'm like looking back on a day of like food I've eaten, I'm like, this is a lot of calories. Like, I'm not used to this, I'm not okay with this, I'm not comfortable with this. And it's just like gently reminding myself, we're not that girl anymore, Lydia. We're not that girl. We're not who you were a couple years ago. We're not that girl that needs to count calories. We're not that girl with that maintenance calories. We're not, making ourselves sick anymore. Also, all these numbers like 2,000 calories a day or whatever, like these are just metrics. These are just numbers. These are just statistics that it's data or whatever. Like throw it out the fucking window because your body is your body and you'll find what works for you. Like that's just a casual measurement. I eat more than 2,000 calories a day. I think I eat close to around 3,000. I don't know exactly, but I definitely eat around 3,000 calories a day. Okay, and that would have freaked me the fuck out. But my body is maintaining its weight. My body's healthy. My body's happy. My BMI is technically overweight. I don't look overweight, okay? I look great. I look fantastic. I look super cute. Like, these numbers are just numbers. And the point is, how do you feel, okay? Like, we're humans. We can't measure everything. We can't control it. We can't calculate it all the time. We got to accept that, guys. We got to accept the lack of control we have and just find what works for us. And I'm not angry with you. If you are struggling, if you can't do it today, that's okay. If you are listening to this and your heart wants to, but your head can't, that's okay. Like, I know you're stuck. I know you feel trapped. You're not gonna be like that forever. It's gonna end soon. It's gonna end. It always does. You're gonna be able to recover from this. I promise you, it's gonna happen at one point or another. Just keep listening. Keep listening. Keep thinking about it. Keep questioning your eating disorder. You might still be engaging in eating disorder behavior, but just keep thinking about it, about recovery. Just keep it as an option, okay? Because I know some of you are going to listen to this and be like, I really want to, but I can't. That's okay. I was in the same position, okay? I listen to podcasts and people are like, just do this. And it's like, okay, but I can't. So that's okay as well. Just keep showing up, keep being open to something. Like eventually something will click for you. I promise you. Like sometimes the timing has to be right, the situation has to be right, the circumstances have to be right, and you'll be able to recover from your eating disorder. But I just want to help you in any way that I can. And so the point of today's episode is that a life without calorie counting is possible, and that I thought when I did it, it was the only option I had and it would keep me safe. And if I didn't count calories, I would be doomed. And now I don't count calories and I am the opposite of doomed. I am free and my life is full of endless possibilities. And with that being said, I'm going to go fulfill those endless possibilities by, what am I going to do? Well, there's some sun outside, might go like do some editing outside, might go play some music, I'm going to go have dinner, which I'm not going to count. But yeah. Let me know if you like this episode, guys. Let me know if you want to speak about this more. I'm definitely going to speak about my eating disorder more and my experience with one, so don't worry about that, but I love to hear from you guys. I love to hear your thoughts, love to hear your opinions, and just stay safe, look after yourselves, be kind to yourself. You're not doing the wrong thing ever by feeding yourself, by not making yourself sick, by having that extra 100, 200 calories. You're not doing the wrong thing. Even though it feels like it to your brain, it's not the wrong thing. Like I'm telling you right now, it's not the wrong thing. You did good for yourself. You did good, okay? I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of Children of Divorce, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye. Bye-bye. Kisses. I need to pee so badly.